بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبيه الكريم عليه صلوات ربي وسلامه. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much for joining me in this program, The Great Women in Islam. The last time we spoke about Maryam's childhood. Today, inshallah, we are going to talk about her youth. We will try to learn from this part of her story how young girls should raise themselves and continue the job their parents start. How they should do tarbiyah to themselves. Maryam alayhi salam is a role model to every girl. She teaches her how to start her life in the right way, how to live a significant life, how to discover meaning and purpose along the way. In Maryam's story, we can notice two very important concepts in building a strong Muslim woman personality from the young age. What are these two important concepts? Number one is to build a strong relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, doing volunteer work, serving the ummah, serving the nation. Let's start with the first concept. Build a strong relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا. Every time Zakaria entered the mihrab to visit her, he found her supplied with sustenance, rizq. So our point here is not about the rizq, it's the mihrab. Al-mihrab is a place for worship. Mihrab al-salah. So Zakaria, he built for Maryam a room in Bayt al-Maqdis, and she was spending her time there worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not in a normal way. Her objective, her goal is not only to worship in order to worship. Her goal is to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So she was seeking closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Why this specific objective? Because she knew that the happiness, the strength, the success, the inner peace only come by being close to the one who created us. So now the question, how to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We want to be like Maryam. How to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What we have learned from Maryam's story, we can get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by knowing Him first and worshipping Him with love second. Why knowing Him first? It's very simple. Because we can't trust someone we don't know. We can't serve, obey someone we don't know. And of course, we can't love someone we don't know. But how to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? There is three ways of knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first way is by observing His creation that He perfectly brought to existence. So every phenomenon in the universe, including the sun, the moon, the night, the birds, the fish, the seas, the mountains, indicates Allah's greatness, Allah's existence, Allah's ownness, Allah's knowledge, and Allah's wisdom, and many, many other things. So if you want to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all what we have to do is to take time out and look at his creations, starting from our own selves. Let's take a small example about ourselves. Blood viscosity is determined by special hormones of both coagulation and dilution, which are produced at a most accurate ratio. If the ratio of the hormone of coagulation increased more than that designed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, blood would clot in the blood vessels and cause immediate death. And if the ratio of the hormone of dilution increased, men would bleed to death even if slightly wounded. This is one example. But in the human body, there are many amazing secrets and miracles that go beyond our imagination and that help us to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and glorify Him. The second way to know Him is Al-Quran Al-Kareem. Al-Quran is Allah's word. He revealed it to us to know Him and to worship Him with love. The third way to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is by knowing His beautiful names and best attributes. Knowing His beautiful names doesn't mean only memorizing these beautiful names and do a song with it and repeat it every day. No. Knowing His beautiful names means knowing the meaning of these beautiful names and best attributes. Then feeling this meaning. We have to feel this meaning and to look for this meaning in our life, to reflect it to our life, to the universe, to everything around us. So the question now is what we can get from knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The answer is we will worship Him with love. We will not feel that we are forced to worship Him. We are forced to obey Him. No, at all. Why? What is the wisdom behind this? The important point here, my dear sisters and brothers, is that when you know the lawgiver, you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you love Him, then you know the law, orders and bans, do this, don't do this, do that. You will be dedicated to carry them out. But if you know the law without knowing the lawgiver, you will do your best to get away from abiding with that law. You will do your best to run away, to escape. So knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's the key to worship Him with love. So when we know Allah is great, is generous, is powerful, is merciful, surely we will trust and obey Him with love. So we will not, for example, take salah as a burden, but as a relief. We will not perform it very fast just to go to enjoy what we love to do. Just the opposite. We will feel very excited to go to pray. We don't rush our salat for anything, as we are standing in front of the one who is in charge of whatever we are rushing for. We will feel that a salat is a great meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where we can thank Him for all His bounties, where we can ask Him for forgiveness about any sin that can damage the relationship with Him, where we can ask for His help, that we can carry the amana and the mission that He asked us to fulfill. So Maryam alayhi salam, that's why she was spending her time in al-mihrab, seeking closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until she deserved the name or the title of as-siddiqa, the truthful one. Actually, the Arabic word siddiqa implies more than just speaking the truth. This is sadiqa. This is not siddiqa. Siddiqa, it indicates one who is truthful, honest with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with himself, then with people. This is what does it mean, siddiqa. So when we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and get close to him, we will obey him with full submission because we trust him. This is another key, trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we start trusting him, he will grant us his divine love. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Quran what can be translated to, surely Allah loves those who place their trust in him. So dear sisters and brothers, Allah's love is the first love. Yes, Allah's love is the first love. We never find true love until we first learn to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we learn from Maryam's story. That's why Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said, every love that leads away from his love is in fact a punishment. Only love that leads to his love is heartfelt and pure love. So your love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will strengthen you and make you believe deeply that if Allah or if all the people are pleased with you, but Allah is not, so you have gained nothing. And if Allah is pleased with you, but no one else is, you have lost nothing. Your love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you to carry on your mission, whatever obstacles and challenges you are facing. Your love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you, my dear girls, from falling in love the wrong way. Al-Shafi'i rahimahullah said, do not love the one who doesn't love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they can leave him, they will leave you. So usually young girls think a lot about the man they are going to love. But subhanallah, Maryam alayhi salam is telling to them, fall in love with Allah first. Then think about the right person that deserves your love. So this is the first concept that we notice when we study Maryam's youth. Build strong relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second concept is charity work. Do volunteer work. From where we get this? Do you remember? Maryam's mother dedicated her to Allah to serve Bayt al-Maqdis. Serving Bayt al-Maqdis. This is a volunteer work. Allah didn't oblige Hannah or the ladies of that specific era to do so. She chose to do it. She chose to do it. So, of course, we don't know exactly what she was doing beside worshipping Allah in al-Mihrab, but the concept of charity work and doing volunteer work is there. But the question is, why charity and volunteer work is important in the tarbiyah of our children in general, and especially for the girls? Why? Why is it important? The answer, wallahu a'lam, is that one of the most attribute or the most common attribute among young girls and teenage girls is being emotional. They like to love and to be loved. But the question is how and where they are going to express this feeling, this emotion. Some girls, they prefer to express this feeling through haram relationship, having a boyfriend. It's very important to know that feeling in love isn't haram. What you do with that love is what makes it haram or halal. That's why our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there is nothing better two who love each other than marriage. Why? Because haram relationship, it won't give you the peace you need. Never. It's haram. Allah didn't bless the haram relationship. Will not ever give barakah in the haram relationship. No. Don't listen to the shaitan. He will tell you, you will enjoy the relation. You will feel that you are a queen, you are a princess, you are nothing if you are in haram relationship. All what you will have, you will lost the first love, Allah's love. And sure, this is a big loss. This is really a big loss. So, haram relationship, as I said, it won't give you the peace you need. It will break your heart. It will push you far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will make you lose the first love, the love of Allah. So that's why you need to know, my dear daughters and sisters, how to express this emotion without breaking your heart. We need to know that the main source of happiness in Islam is two things. Number one, knowing Allah and obeying Him with love. Number two, making others happy. How can I make other people happy? One of the way to make them happy is charity work, التطوع, volunteer work. So helping people, caring about them, supporting them, make you feel happy. And according to the latest studies, the more people volunteered, the happier they were. And you can see that when you help others, subhanallah, in the end of the day, you are helping yourself. You are raising by lifting the others. You are getting satisfaction by having a significant life. So in the end of the day, you are helping others and you are helping yourself in the same time. And you are feeling that you love people, you love to do khair, and you feel that you are loved also because you are doing something great. When you do something great, Allah loves you. And when Allah loves you, He will call Jibreel and all al-malaika and ask them to love you. And He will ask Jibreel to call upon the people around this earth and ask them, and He will put your love inside their heart. So the solution to express this emotion, your emotion, without breaking your heart is making others happy by charity work. So you can see clearly, my dear sisters and brothers, that charity work never break your heart like boyfriend do. Charity work always keep your heart with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if your heart is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nobody can break it. In the end, we conclude that the story of Maryam in her young age give young girls a very powerful formula. Yeah, I call it formula. Maryam's formula. This formula has two components. One, will build a strong relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, doing volunteer work, charity work. When young girls apply Maryam's formula, it will make them a great woman with a mission and a vision. And this is very important. Many people, they are lost in this dunya. Why? They don't know why they exist. They don't have any mission, any vision. They are just wasting their life, wasting their time, and waiting for death. This is not the case for a young Muslim woman. A young Muslim woman or girl, when she apply Maryam formula, inshallah, she will be a great woman with a mission and vision. And the most important part is that Maryam's formula will make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the center of your life. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.